When ready.
Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness.
In the cage.
17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you the people.
Welcome to the show. What's happening, my peoples? Welcome. So, today I'm going to do a review on a little news clip with Peter Doocy. I thought this was epic. Anyway, let's get into it, and then we'll kind of talk about it as we go.
Down inflation, let's make sure the wealthiest corporations pay their fair share. How does raising taxes on corporations reduce inflation?
Are you talking about a specific?
Okay, here's why she can't answer that and why she's going to get caught. Because, well, number one, common sense. If raising taxes solve problems, then why hasn't the problems gotten solved for decades? Because that's all we have done is raise taxes every year. And all the corruption and all the bullshit and all the misspending and all the inflation, all that stuff continues to happen every year. So it's not even of evidence. Empirical evidence shows that raising taxes does nothing for the zero. Does zero for the public, zero for us. But it does do a lot for them. Okay, understand that. Raising taxes, when politicians tell you raising taxes will solve inflation, stop and think. Stop and think. Do some research. Do some reading. Go watch a video. Understand how money is printed, how money is made, how it goes into circulation, what the money is really backed by, and how inflation comes to happen. Money supplies and all that stuff. Fractional reserve. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you need to learn. So when Peter Doocy asks her, how is raising taxes gonna solve inflation? It can't. And she knows it can't. She knows it can't. So she's about to go into a word salad. Because you all need to wake up, man. They don't care about, Michael Jackson was right. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Wake up. Stop picking a blue team. Stop picking a red team. And just pick the team that does what you asked them to do. That does what you voted for them to do. That's how you pick a team. You don't pick a team by joining a tribe and just going what that tribe does. No. You wake up and you look and you say, okay, this team looks like they're doing what I want. I'm going to vote for that. I don't pick red or blue. I just pick what is true. All right, let's continue.
Tweet.
He tweeted, you want to bring down inflation, let's make sure the wealthiest corporations pay their fair share.
Look, we have talked about this past year about making sure that the wealthiest among us are paying their fair share. And that is important to do, and that is something that the president has been working on every day when we talk about inflation and lowering costs. And so it's very important that as we're seeing costs rise, as we're talking about how to build a America that's safe, that's equal for everyone and doesn't leave everyone behind. That is an important part of that as well.
But how does raising taxes on corporations lower the cost of gas, the cost of a used car, the cost of food for everyday Americans?
So look, I think we encourage those who have done very well, right? Especially those who care about climate change, to support a fair tax code that doesn't charge manufacturers, workers, cops, builders a higher percentage of their earnings, that the most fortunate people in our nation, and not let that stand in the way of reducing energy costs and fighting this existential problem, if you think about that as an example. And to support basic collective bargaining rights as well, right? That's also important. But look, it is, without having a fair tax code, which is what I'm talking about, then all.
Who determines what's fair? Who determines what tax code is fair and what it does? And listen, people, in the world of mechanics, in the world of how things operate, everything is a system, and systems have gears and wheels. And when you change something over here, it changes something over here. It's that simple, right? When politicians throw out stuff to you, try to understand what they're really saying, right? We need more money for our operations. We got to get it from somewhere. What do you think would happen if the tax rate for corporations or wealthy billionaires, or however they want to phrase it, right, goes up? What money is treated where money goes where money is treated best. Money goes where money is treated best. It's just the way it is. I'm not here. I'm not biased. I don't have a stake in the game, right? I don't care about the way economies and all that stuff flourish. There's millions of ways to do systems around the world and millions of ways to have an exchange of commerce. And there's all kinds of different ideas floating around out there, right? I'm not here to debate which system is better or whatever. I'm just talking about the basic mechanics of how this works, right? If you de-incentivize capitalists or investors or anybody who wants to build a business to profit from, if you punish them, they will have no desire or need or want to develop, to grow, to sprout, to innovate, because their money is no good here. So they're going to take their money and go somewhere else where it's good to them. You see how we're shooting ourselves in the foot. I am not a pro or against with any type of ideology or economy. I'm just stating the obvious, right? Common sense. So you got to be careful when politicians say stuff like this and try to justify raising more taxes as if somehow that's going to be good for economy, good for commerce, good for the worker. Because don't you for 1 second think that an employer is just going to sit there and get taxed more and not take it out on the customer or take it from the check of the workers? Trust me, they always say, oh, the average worker is not going to be affected because we're going to tax the rich. You idiots. It's a symbiotic relationship. The currency, money. Forget people and who's billionaire and who's a working class and take the people out the equation. It's math, right? That's all this is. If you think that a wealthy billionaire or corporations or businesses which their function is to survive at all cost, that's all it is. It's an organism trying to live. Don't you think those who are depending on that organization are not going to be taxed more or paid less for that business to survive? A higher tax code? Anyway, that's just something to consider, guys. Just have a conversation about this. This is not a left or right issue. This is just mechanics. This is just looking at it from a mechanical point of view. You got a system. You're trying to make this system work. You need certain policies in place in order to try and make this system work efficiently. This is where the Republicans have been, well, this new part, as Trump calls it, the new MAGA party. This is what they're trying to say, is that we need to stimulate our economy so that we have more jobs and we have more commerce movement in our economy so that we thrive and flourish and so that we can make America great again. Anyway, let's finish it off.
Like manufacturing workers, cops, it's not fair for them to have to pay higher taxes than the folks who are not paying taxes at all.
What does that have to do with inflation? What does that have to do with inflation? The president said you want to bring.
What does that have to do with inflation? What does that? And by the way, inflation is gonna destroy. Is already destroying everyone's life. Already, you're seeing it, right? It's happened more hyperinflation. We're just seeing the beginning stages of hyperinflation of the US dollar. The early stages of it. Come on, people. They don't have a solution or a plan and they're not going to help you. You better vote these people out of office. Quick. Midterms coming up. Get out there, get to the polls, get these people out of your communities, because their fiscal policy has only one agenda and one agenda only. How do I make an entire state go bankrupt and then be absorbed into a much larger federal empire? That's the whole objective. How do we slowly destroy states? How do we slowly destroy the Fed? And how do we slowly get absorbed into a much larger organization? That seems to be the pattern of what they're doing from my zoomed out observation. So I'm not falling for it. If you fall for it, great, good for you. But I'm looking at all their fiscal policies. I'm looking at the laws that they support. I'm looking at the level of propaganda that they do, and the way they censor, and the way they have all these different mechanisms in place, almost as if they're trying to create a different America. Question is, you got to decide, what America do you want that to be for you and your children? If this is what's good for you, all right, great. We'll duke it out at the polls. We'll go vote. But I'm just saying, we need to be more awake when we have these conversations. Pay attention to the bigger picture of what really is going on, right? There's a whole lot of moving parts and a whole lot of things happening. So we got to get smart about this and have a conversation. Look at the mechanics. Don't be left. Don't be right. Don't be blue. Don't be red. Forget the tribalism. You're an American citizen. You pay taxes. Some of us have businesses. Some of us are employees. Some of us are students. Some of us, we're a mix of all kinds of people, right? And each one of our lives are going to be affected by the policies implemented fiscally by whichever administration is in charge. And so it's our duty and our job as responsible citizens to do our due diligence about the policies, about what the ripple effects of those policies could be, what communities will be impacted, etc., and then come together, have discussion, and then go vote. That's it. There's no need for all this tribalist shit that we're doing. Anyway, let's wrap it up.
Bring down inflation. Let's make sure the wealthiest corporations pay their fair share. Jeff Bezos came out and tweeted about that. He said the newly created Disinformation Board should review this tweet. Would you be okay with that?
Peter Doocy, man, that guy's gonna make his name. He's gonna be like a Tucker Carlson. He's coming up there. I see him. That's pretty cool. That was cool, man. He dropped that bomb at the end. Anyway, guys, that's my take on that video. I was laughing my ass off. I didn't want to get into too much detail about how economies work and how money is printed and how hyperinflation and all this other stuff, because there's hundreds of videos on YouTube about this stuff. Get out there, do some research, look up how money is created, how economies run, what taxation does to an economy when it goes up. And this is not new. As a species, we've been here before. So you can go back through history and read from the Roman Empire until now and follow the cycles of humanity and see that this is just part of the cycle. This is how this works. And don't listen to politicians. Don't listen to them, because they're lying their asses off and they're not telling you the truth. And they don't want to tell you that we're going through one of those down cycles and there's going to be a lot of shit. And we got to gear up and become a community and work together as a collective to deal with this rough patch that we're going through as a country. And it is just a rough patch. We'll get through this. Stay united, stay focused, and stay as one, and love thy countrymen. Blessings. Take care. Thank you.